Let me adjust this mic and this camera a little bit. Okay, welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Let's analyze the market structure. Let's look at the monthly chart, the daily chart, the 4 hours, the 1 hour, and 30 minutes time frame. Just for us to have an idea what we are anticipating the market to give to us. Let's go to the month chart. The month chart is left with 7 days before this candle will close. So let's remove this line so that we'll be able to have an idea what we are anticipating the market to give to us. I'm going to leave this one. This is the high of this recent bullish candle. We are in an uptrend, while this is the low of this recent bullish candle. So let me just copy this and paste it over here. So the candle came to this zone at 425, 4.5, and then the candle wants to reject of this zone. That means the candle will break the low of this candle over here for the candle to continue to come down. Since this month's chart is left with 7 days before this candle will close, so let's see how this candle will close in the next 7 days. Let's go to the daily chart. Looking at the formation of this daily chart, the Forex market is just like at this moment it's just consolidating, like the candlestick pattern and the market and everything, like they are just consolidating since the candle went to this all-time high, and then this candle closed with a bearish candle, that this candle closed with a small bearish candle, a rejection bearish candle, and a bullish candle. So looking at the formation of the market structure, the market structure is just consolidating because we have a support zone over here and we have a resistance zone over here. So the market structure is just consolidating. So the daily chart, we are in a consolidation zone because we are anticipating the break of this our resistance zone, and we are anticipating the break of this our support zone, then for the next candle to keep coming down or for the next candle to keep going up. But this is this line is the high of the recent month like this month chart, like the month chart, this recent candle. This is the high. I just put it there just for us to have an idea if the markets need to come back to fill the wick over there, since we are anticipating it for it to break the low of this recent candle for it to continue to come down. So it's very important for you to know what the market is doing, just for you to have an idea what you're anticipating the market to give to you. So we have a resistance zone over here and we have a support zone over here. So the daily chart, the market structure is just consolidating. There's a minor support over here. So that means this recent candle broke the low of this bearish candle over here for this trade to keep coming down to get to the support zone over here. But this daily chart is left with 11 hours before this recent candle will close. So there is a lot of time. Let's go to the H4, which means the 4 hours. Looking at the formation of the candlestick, the market structure is just consolidating at this moment because we have a resistance zone and a support zone. So there is nothing serious that is happening at this moment. The market structure is just consolidating. We have a resistance zone over here and a minor resistance over here, which we have a minor support and a minor support and a support zone over here. So by looking at the formation of this candle, let me move this a little bit. Looking at the formation of this candle, as you can see, the candle, they are just printing side by side. That means there is no volume in the market for the candle to give us a strong bullish candle or for the candle to give us a strong bearish candle like this, a strong bullish candle like this, or a strong bearish candle like this. Meanwhile, it's only when you have volume in the market, or it's only when there is news in the market before you see a strong candle to close like this because there is volume in the market or because there is news in the market. But looking at the formation of how the candle is, they are just printing side by side. So that means there is not enough volume in the market at this moment for the candle to close with a strong bullish candle or for the candle to close with a strong bearish candle. So the best thing is just for us to identify our zone and for us to be patient while we anticipate the market to get to our position, or we anticipate the market to give us that particular setup or that thing that we are looking for before we can decide to take a position. So the H for the market structure is just consolidating at this moment. So we have a support zone over here, we have a resistance zone over here. So the market structure is just consolidating and we can't really do anything at this moment until the break of our resistance zone or until the break of our support zone. We have a support zone over here, we have a support zone over here. But I usually identify my support zone and my resistance zone with H1 or 30 minutes. Let's go to H1. So we'll have a clear picture of what the market structure is saying. We need to adjust this over here. Let's adjust this here. Then we need to adjust this over here. We have a resistance zone over here. Why did that thing? Let's move it here. We have a support zone over here. We also have a minor support, a minor support, a minor support, a minor support. So there is nothing serious that is happening at this moment. Let's look at the 30 minutes. We need to zoom the chart. This is our support zone. Should be here. We have a support zone over here. Let's measure from this support zone down to the support zone. So we are looking at almost like 300 pips here, about looking at 300 pips. Let's zoom the chart a little bit. We have a support zone over here. We have a resistance zone over here. I understand that you have a minor resistance and a minor resistance, a minor resistance and a resistance zone. But today is Friday, so it's best for us to identify a consolidation zone. Let's measure from this support zone to this resistance zone. We are looking at almost like 340 pips thereabout. So that is huge. Let's measure from this resistance zone down to the high of this. We are looking at 196. Here, almost like 200. But if there is volume in the market, the volume should be able to break this resistance zone for the candle to keep going up, to fill this week, to fill this week, and to fill this week. So the moment the candle should continue to go up to fill this week, to fill this week, and to fill this week. So that means this minor resistance, this minor resistance, and this minor resistance, they are no longer valid. Let's find a consolidation see the consolidation right up around here. This place is our consolidation zone. From this support to this support, like 300 pips. So it's very important for us to know how much we want from the market. It's very important for us to know how much we're anticipating the market to give to us. So looking at the formation of this candle, so from this resistance zone down to this support zone is being considered as a consolidation zone. So the best thing is just for us to wait. We're not going to do anything until a candle should break this our support zone, or a candle should break this our resistance zone with our other confirmation. Then I'm going to tell you guys if it is the right time for us to take a position or if it is the right time for us to chill. So meanwhile, this recent 30 minutes candle is left with 8 minutes before this candle will close. So let's just be patient until this candle will close before we can decide to take a position. But if this candle should continue to come down to break our support zone, I will not advise us for us to take a position, because you need to ask yourself, from the break of this our support zone down to the high of this candle, we are looking at almost like 246 pips. So where will you put your stop loss? It's very important for you to know when to take a position and when for you to chill. But if this candle should continue to come down to give us a bearish candle like this, for it to continue to come down, even the candle should get to this support zone over here, I'm not going to take a position, because I need to follow my trading plan. I need to follow what my trading plan is saying before I can decide to take a position. So I'm not going to do anything. And today is Friday. I'm not in a rush to make money today. So let's just be patient until we are able to identify a structure before we can decide to take a position. Meanwhile, this candle is left with 7 minutes before this bearish candle will close. So let's see how this candle will close before we can decide to take a position. Let's be patient. We don't need to do anything. We don't need to chase the market. I'm just looking at my other screen just to have an idea what the formation of the candle is saying. It's just okay. It's just okay, but it's fine. Let me just put it there. So we are still anticipating this candle to close before we decide to take a position. So let's just enjoy the music. If you guys have a question, you can send your message to the chat box and I will get back to you guys. So this candle is left with 3 minutes before this candle will close. Like I said, if this candle should continue to come down, I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to do anything because this is not part of our trading plan. This is not what we're anticipating the market to give to us. So since we have a support zone over here, we have a resistance zone over here. So let's just be patient until we are able to identify a structure before we can decide to take a position. The candle is left with 2 minutes before the candle will close. So let's just be patient. We don't need to do anything. The candle is left with a minute before the candle will close. Let's just be patient since we know what we are anticipating the market to give to us, how we want it before we can decide to take a position. But for now, let's just be patient. Let's allow the candle to close and let's measure from the high of this bearish candle down to the low of this bearish candle. We are looking at 192 pips. So it's very important for us to know what we want from the market and how we want it before we can decide to take a position. So this 30 minutes candle just closed with a strong bearish candle. Let's measure from this high of this candle down to the low of this candle. So you're looking at 200 pips. You're looking at 200 pips, and this is the third candle. Let's look at the 1 hour, what the 1 hour is saying, just for us to have an idea. So the 1 hour is left with 30 minutes for this 1 hour to close. And this 1 hour, it broke the low of this rejection bullish candle. And the 1 hour is left with 30 minutes before the 1 hour will close. So let's see. Since a new 30 minutes candle just from right now. So let me look at the 4 hours. The 4 hour is rejecting off. I think this is for us, yes. Okay, the 4 hour is yet to fill this week over here to this place. Let me see something. The 4 hour is left for it to fill this week. So from this week over here down to this place, you're looking at 280 pips. I love to look at the different time frame just for me to have an idea what the candle is saying. So the 1 hour is left with 28 minutes and it has broken the low of this rejection bullish candle. Then the 30 minutes closed with a strong bearish candle, and it didn't close with a wick at the bottom. It closed without no wick. That this next candle didn't break the low of this bearish candle. So the best thing is just for us to wait and see. And this is the wick of the 4-hour candle. So let's just wait. If this candle is going up to create a wick like this, if the candle is going on to create a wick like this, then for the body, let me zoom the chart a little bit. If this candle right now is going up to create a wick like this, so that means the candle will need to go up and then come down to create a wick, then form a body. That this body will have to break the low of this bearish candle over here, then for the trade to keep coming down. So but if the candle should give us something like this, I'm going to tell us when we need to take a position, but we are anticipating this recent 30 minutes candle to give us a formation of candles like this, by which the body of this candle, like this is the wick and this is the body, so by which the body of this candle will have to break the low of this bearish candle for the trade to keep coming down. But we need to ask ourselves, from this support zone to this support zone, which we are looking at like 300, let me just say like 320 pips. So you need to ask yourself that how much you want from the market and how much you want to risk, because it all depends on the wick of this recent candle. If the wick of this recent candle, maybe it will give us like 50 pips or 70 pips or 30 pips. So we just need to be patient until this candle is done moving up, and then for it to continue to come down, for the body of the candle to break the low of this strong bearish candle, then for the candle to keep coming down like this. Then I'm going to tell you guys when to open a position and where you need to put your stop loss. But before I will tell you guys, we need to measure from the high of the week, being this high of this week, then to our entering position. Then I will tell us when we need to put our stop loss. So for now, let's just be patient, and then until we are able to identify this type of market condition before we can decide to take a position. But for now, let's just be patient and enjoy the music, and then for us to allow this candle to form a wick like this, then before we can decide to anticipate if it is the right time for us to take a position or if it's the right time for us to chill. So let's just be patient for now. So let's just be patient. Let's see what the candle wants to do. Let's see what the candle want to do. We are anticipating the candle to create a wick, then for it to continue to come down, for the body of this candle to break the low of this strong bearish candle, then for it to break our support zone. Then I'm going to tell you guys where you need to put your stop loss and when we need to take a position. But for now, let's just be patient until we are able to identify a structure before we can decide to take a position. Let's just be patient. Let's just be patient until the market should give us a structure that we are looking for before we can decide to take a position. That means we are anticipating this candle for it to form a wick. Therefore, the body of this candle to continue to come down to break this bearish candle, low of this bearish candle. Then for it to continue to come down, just like how we are anticipating the candle to give us this type of candle formation there before we can decide to take a position. The 15 minutes time candle is about to close in the next like 3 minutes. So let's see what the candle want to do. It's very important for us to know what we want. It's very important for us to know how we want it. And we don't need to chase the markets. You need to have a plan. You need to have a trading plan. You need to know what you are looking for in the forex market before you can decide to take a position. You don't need to take a position if the candle is going up or if the candle is coming down. You don't need to do that. You need to have a plan, stick with your plan. And the moment you are able to identify that thing that you're looking for, then you can decide to take a position. So this 15 minutes candle is about to close in the next 3 minutes, which the candle want to continue to come down, but it's best for us to wait. We don't know if the candle will continue to come down or if the candle will close with a bullish candle. So, but it's very important for us to have a plan which we are anticipating the market to give us this type of candle formation. And looking at how the formation of this candle, it has created an upper wick. So that means the body of this candle needs to break the low of this bearish candle over here, then to break our support zone. Then I'm going to tell you guys when you need to open a position and where we need to put our stop loss, because it's very important for us to know where we need to put our stop loss. But let me measure from this high of this recent candle down to the break of our support zone. We are looking at almost like 92, 93 pips. So, but I'm going to tell you guys where you need to put your stop loss. So let's just be patient since the 15 minutes candle is left with 2 minutes before this candle will close. Let's see what the next 15 minutes candle want to do, or this recent 15 minutes candle sometimes can still continue to shoot down to break the low for it to continue to come down. But let's just be patient until we're able to identify a structure before we can decide to take a position. I love to look at the different time frame just for me to have an idea what I'm anticipating the market to give to me. Let me see what the 1 hour is saying. Okay. Since you are still anticipating it for it to continue to come down. What's this? This slice. We don't need it. Hours. Okay. There's a wick over here. There's a wick over here. So let's see what the candle wants to do. Let's see what the candle wants to do. Let's just be patient. Since we know how much we are anticipating the market to give to us and what we are anticipating the market to give to us, so let's just be patient. So let's just be patient. Since we know what you're anticipating the market to give to us. Looking at the formation of this candle, that means the 15 minutes candle, this recent 15 minutes candle has broken the high of this rejection bullish candle. The 1 hour candle is a rejecting of this zone to form a wick over here. So, but it's very important for us to be patient until we're able to identify a structure before we can decide to take a position. This 30 minutes candle is left with 9 minutes before this candle will close. Let's just be patient until we are able to identify a structure before we can decide to take a position. We are still anticipating the candle for it to give us a wick, then for the body of this candle to break the low of this candle, then for the candle to continue to come down. It's very important for you to have a plan. You know what you're anticipating the market to give to you before you can decide to take a position. Candle is going up like this. Candle is going up. Mm. 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 Let's just be patient until we are able to identify a structure before we can decide to take a position. Mm. 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 So this 30 minutes candle is left with 5 minutes before this candle will close. So let's just be patient. Let's just be patient. Let's see what this candle wants to do. Since the candle is left with 5 minutes before the candle will close. Let's just be patient. The candle is left with 4 minutes before this candle will close. The 30 minutes candle. The 1 hour is also left with 4 minutes before this candle will close. So let's see what the 30 minutes candle wants to do and what the 1 hour candle wants to do. Since both of them, they are left with 4 minutes before the both candle will close. So this candle, it went up to create a wick. So let's see how this candle will close. But if this candle, because of the fact that it's left with 3 minutes, and then the candle should continue to come down to break it low and get to our support zone, I'm not going to take a position. It's very important for you to know what you want. It's very important for you to know how you want it before you can decide to take a position. So because it's not just all about when the candle is going up or when the candle is coming down. The market must give you what you want. The market must give you what your trading plan says, then before you can decide to take a position. So meanwhile, let's just be patient and enjoy the music. And this 30 minutes candle and 1 hour candle is left with 3 minutes before this candle will close. Since we are anticipating for the candle to give us a wick and the body of this candle to break the low of this strong bearish candle, then for it to break our support zone, then for the body of this candle to continue to come down, then I'm going to tell you guys where you need to take a position and where you need to put your stop loss. Then for us to anticipate the candle to keep coming down, maybe to your TP like 100 pips, or you're targeting like 70, 150 pips, because from this support zone to this support zone, we are looking at 300 pips. So let's just be patient until we are able to identify a structure before we can decide to take a position. Candle is left with 2 minutes. We are approaching pre-New York section. Mm. Let's just be patient until the candle will close. Mm. 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 The candle is left with a minute before the candle will close. Let's just be patient. Let's allow the candle to close. So that means the candle is here to break our resistance zone and our support zone. So this candle closed with a very strong bearish candle. That means that like by this time there is volume in the market. Because of the volume in the market, so we are anticipating this next candle to create a wick like this. Then for the body of this candle to break the low of this strong bearish candle, then for this candle to continue to come down maybe to our 100 pips, 50 pips, or like whatever your target is, then we'll be able to secure a position and then we'll call it a day. But rather the candle is like this candle choose to close with a rejection bullish candle, which is left with 9 seconds for this candle to close. So let's see what the next candle wants to do. Let's see what the next candle wants to do. But I'm going to tell you guys when you need to take a position. Right now, let's just be patient. So this candle has closed with a rejection bullish candle that it didn't break the low of this strong bearish candle over here. So let's see what this next candle wants to do. This candle closed back to this consolidation zone. That means it hasn't broken our resistance zone or it hasn't broken our support zone. So let's just be patient until we are able to identify a structure before we can decide to take a position. But if this candle should break the high of this rejection bullish candle, we're not going to do anything because this zone is being considered as a consolidation zone. I'm just looking at my other screen just for us to have an idea what the market structure is saying. So this candle, it broke the high of this rejection bullish candle over here. It broke the high of this bullish candle over here. Let's see what the candle wants to do, because as of this moment, this candle, they are still in this consolidation zone. They haven't broken our support zone or they haven't broken our resistance zone. So the best thing is just for us to be patient until we are able to identify a structure before we can decide to take a position. This is pre-New York section. In the next 7 minutes, it will be New York open. So let's just be patient until we are able to identify a structure before we can decide to take a position. Since the candle formation is still in the consolidation zone, from this resistance zone to this support zone is being considered as a consolidation zone. If this candle has broken the high of this bullish candle over here, and the candle want to continue to come down to break the low of this bullish candle and break our support zone. So the question is, what are we going to do? Because from the high of this candle down to our support zone, we are looking at 128 pips. So are you going to put your stop loss, or will your stop loss be at 128 pips? No, you can't do that. So it's very important for you to know what you want and how you want it. And then the moment you identify a structure, don't hesitate, open that position and allow the candle to get to your TP. So, but if this recent 30 minutes candle should continue to come down to break the low of this bullish candle over here and break our resistance zone, I'm not going to advise us for us to open a position, because today is Friday. We need to know what we want. We need to know how we want it before we can decide to take a position. So let's just be patient before we are anticipating the market to break our support zone or to break our resistance zone, then before we can decide to take a position. So for now, let's just be patient. The candle came back down to create a wick. This candle came back down to create a wick, so that means the candle can continue to go up. Since it has broken the high of this bullish candle over here, it can continue to go up. So, but looking at how the formation of this candle, this zone is being considered as a consolidation zone, so we can't really do anything in this zone. We just need to be patient. Let's just be patient and see. Let's just be patient and see what the markets want to do before we can decide to take a position. So that means this candle came back down to create a lower wick for it to continue to go up, since it has broken the high of this bullish candle over here. So let's just be patient. It's very important for you to know what the market structure is saying, just for you to have an idea. So let's just be patient. I know that this candle will continue to go up. It has broken the wick of this bullish candle, came back down to create a wick, so the candle will continue to go up. So this zone is being considered as a consolidation zone. We can't really do anything since we are anticipating the break of our structure with our other confirmation, about which I will tell you guys if it is the right time for us to take a position, or for now we just need to be patient and chill. Let's just be patient, since we are still in a consolidation zone, and this candle is left with 21 minutes for this 30 minutes candle will close. If this candle should continue to shoot up until it gets to this resistance zone, I'm not going to advise us for us to take a position. Know what you want from the market. This is a bullish candle actually. Know what you want from the market and how you want it. before you can decide to take a position. If this candle should break this our resistance zone, for it to continue to go up, I'm not going to advise us for us to take a position. Let's wait. We'll definitely see what we want. The market will definitely give us what we want before we can decide to take a position. We just need to be patient. Let's be patient. So very soon I'm going to head off. Today is Friday. Since the market structure is just in this our consolidation zone, so there is nothing serious is happening. So meanwhile, we are anticipating the break of our resistance zone and the break of our support zone. Then with our confirmation before we can decide to take a position. But right now, nothing serious is happening. So I hope you guys know what you are anticipating the market to give to us. Like I said, if the candle should continue to go up to get to this resistance zone, you don't need to take a position. So that means you are anticipating the break of our resistance zone or the break of our support zone before we can decide to take a position. So let's just be careful and let's know how much you are risking. Today is Friday. Don't go too hard today. The candle has moved 112 pips.